Hey, welcome. Hey, today we have the pleasure of introducing you to Aaron Kelsey from EHRA, headquartered here in Houston. And we're going to discuss today and dive into the intriguing topic of utilizing LiDAR technology on your construction site, even when you're faced with diverse levels of vegetation. So Aaron has something special in store for us today, and he's going to share some of the intriguing, insightful data and engaging in some kind of conversations around some of the hurdles and advantages associated with incorporating LiDAR into urban development projects. And by the way, stick around because Aaron is also going to unveil how LiDAR vegetation analysis is revolutionizing your construction or engineering business. This is going to be awesome. All right, here we go.
Hi, today we're chatting with Aaron Kelsey of EHRA. Aaron, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
No worries at all. So, Aaron, tell us a little bit about what you do and also about the company you work for, EHRA.
I'm a senior survey CAD tech and the drone program manager. I am an SIT, a CST4, and a Part 107 licensed pilot. I've been with EHRA for 9 years, and of that 9 years, we've been running our program for a little over 5 years, and I've been part of the program from the very beginning.
Very cool. And what does your company actually do? For those that are not familiar, uh, what do you guys actually do in the industry, and what are you guys known for?
So we're an engineering firm. So a lot of what we do is to support engineering. So it's anything from construction phase services, hydraulic and hydrology, district services, which would be things like MUDs, which is a municipal utility district, surveying and mapping, planning and visioning, platting, things like that. We've got a multitude of different departments. We're a little over 150 employees.
Yeah, quite a setup there. So, I'm interested, Aaron, how does LiDAR factor into all of this?
Well, so what LiDAR does is it makes it easier for our ground collection. You would collect it every 100 by 100 feet typically. That was a standard grid. A tight grid would be 50 by 50 grid. What LiDAR does is it gives us the ability to collect just exponentially more data than a field crew could collect in a 1 square meter area, in particularly in a very cleared area. We could be getting anywhere from 20 to I've seen as high as 40 points per 1 square meter area.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It is. It's very impressive.
Well, and just for our readers or our viewers here, what system are you actually using currently?
So we are running one of the kind of original Phoenix LiDAR uh, Mini-Rangers with the Rigel. One of the we have the box on it now. We have one of the original big nav boxes, running a Rigel Mini Bucks 1 on it, and she still runs great.
Yeah, Mini-Ranger one. Yeah, yeah. What I love about this, Claire, is like a lot of people. I've been selling for God years now.
Mhm.
But these guys that are investing in the high end quality stuff, it just doesn't go bad. And you can see this 5 years, and you're getting 40 points per meter squared right now, and it's everything that you need it to be. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it says a lot clearly about the product.
Yeah, I think I've got over on that particular model. I've probably got close to 4,000 miles in the air, and probably coming up on about 300 hours on it, and it still runs great. It still does exactly what we need it to do.
Yeah, I think it says a lot clearly about the product.
Hey, so
Mhm.
one of the things that we had been talking about in the pre-interview, and one of the things that your company is supposedly really good at, supposedly, of course you're good at it, but
Mhm.
is urban development. So could you highlight to the audience here on how that LiDAR technology is being used in urban development, and why it's been such a game changer for you all?
Absolutely. So when you say urban development, most people are going most developers are going to think of platting subdivisions, which is going to be where you take a larger tract and you're going to subdivide it into smaller lots. Um, And so what we're doing is we're going out there beforehand, and we're flying a site prior to anything being done, any clearing, anything like that. And the engineers are using that data then for their calculations. So they're calculating what dirt is on site, whether they need to bring dirt on or take dirt off, where the dirt needs to go. The biggest out of everything, the biggest construction cost is dirt. Dirt is expensive. Whether you're keeping it or you're getting rid of it, dirt is expensive. And the other thing too is that one of the advantages with flying LiDAR is if you're flying at whatever height you're flying at. So we fly at 65 meters, which is 213 feet. And so what that means is that 65 meters, you're flying at this height, and we cut out 90 degrees. So if you fly over a property line at this height, you're going to get 213 feet beyond the bottom of your drone in terms of swath. This is advantageous for the engineers because what they do is they use that data to make sure that they are not flooding any of the neighboring properties either. So, if you own a house next to a piece of property that is now being developed, you want to know that it looks like they're bringing in 3 feet of dirt. I want to know that they're not going to flood my
Right.
house.
Right. When you bring into all sorts of legal concerns as well that you can kind of mitigate,
For
by
sure.
looking at that surrounding boundary area. But you're talking about basically what is, preliminary studies, and you're probably having a lot of green space in there. So that means that's fully vegetated. So how has the
Mhm.
Mini-Ranger really made a difference in that wicket of that industry, or that part of the industry?
Yeah, it's a game changer. I mean, so I've got an example up on the screen here. This is a site that we flew.
Hmm.
This was developed into actually an industrial site,
Uh-huh.
um, but just north of it, actually, we developed that one as well into it's a subdivision now, a two-section subdivision. Um, and so you can see that this site has a mixture. It's got a wooded area, it's got a cleared area, it's got a lake off to the east side there. There's a major farmer market road on the south side.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, and so this right here, what we were able to do was, uh, you can see here.
Wow, what's that?
So that is our surface model
Mhm.
overlaid over the aerial. Um, Particularly if you look on the west side, you can see that there's a creek with a bunch of little tributaries coming off of it.
Yes.
Yes.
Traditionally, a field crew would have gone out
Wow,
there
what's
and
that?
chopped line every 100 feet, uh, and they would have just collected whatever they came across in that 100 feet. They may have missed stuff. There may have been a mound of dirt that got missed somewhere. There may have been a finger of this tributary that got missed
Yes.
somewhere. And so when we collected this data and we actually sent it to, this is for an outside engineering firm. We sent it to the outside engineering firm, and they actually didn't believe the data. They
Of course
questioned
they
it,
did.
Wow.
and they hired a field crew to go out there and survey this one particular creek on the west side and all the tributaries. And they spent about 2 weeks out there.
Hmm.
Which if I was to estimate, I would bet that survey cost them probably somewhere around
Wow.
maybe $20,000 for that survey.
Dang.
Um, and
And
it
just for that
was
tributary area,
just
right?
for that tributary area, yeah. And there was a 25-yard difference in dirt. So we are absolute is usually about 2/10 at the worst, and our point density is still you see anywhere from the worst I've seen is maybe 4 to 5 per square meter. Usually it's closer to 8 to 10 per square meter. And again, this is per square meter. When you're comparing that to what a traditional terrestrial crew is doing, where they're collecting every 100 by 100. We had one that we did where we flew it, and we had one of our project managers question. There was these little mounds of dirt that started popping up out there that you could see, and he questioned like, is that real? And I physically went out in the woods and got the coordinates for these points and went out in the
Hmm.
woods and found it. And sure enough, there was mounds of dirt out there. You could see them. I took physical pictures of them to show him. Yeah, there's mounds of dirt out here.
Well, Well, that's the subtle difference between survey and reality capture, depending on what resolution. And a surveyor, like you said, was every 100 or 50 grid. But here now we're talking into 5 centimeters, 10 centimeters of separation. And some people may say that's too much data, but then you get to see all these little variations. I mean, we hear this in every interview over and over, that additional ground truth is finding things and preventing additional costs because they can see it in the office and it's documented. So this is great.
Aaron, I was just interested to ask you, how much money do you think the Ranger Ultra saves your company when you're talking about, manpower and time?
If I was to bet, that Ranger probably paid for itself within 12 months of getting it. Um, it so we did another job that was it was actually a golf course, and I compared what we collected to. I essentially came up with a mathematical equation of what I thought a field crew would collect. Of if a field crew collected 1,000 points a day, and they did it for 30 days, and that's 7 days a week, they could only come within about 0.8% of the amount of data that we collected. And that's best case scenario. That's best case scenario for LiDAR and best case scenario for a ground crew. Ground crew's not having to get bogged down with trees or anything like that, and neither is the LiDAR. And best case scenario, they were going to come within under 1% of the amount of data we collected.
And then maybe I missed it, but how long did it take you to fly that
It was
site?
maybe 2 hours. So
So 2 hours
Wow.
versus
correct, yeah.
weeks. And you're talking about the best case scenario. So you're talking a golf course is getting better than that, where you're really you're wide open. You can walk across the ground. You don't have to climb mountains or any
Yeah,
of
I
that
mean, we
stuff.
flew one
So
we
there's
flew one
nothing.
today that was an hour and 20-minute long flight, and it would have been really complicated for a field crew to collect because there was a lot of natural relief, so there's a lot of hills, there was creeks off in the
Mhm.
woods, and it was an hour and 20 minutes we were out there. Total time windshield to windshield, so from the time we left till the time we got back was 6 hours, and it
Wow.
would have taken a field crew 6 hours to get set up and decide how they were going to tackle it.
Aaron, what's the largest site that you've surveyed using the Ranger Ultra?
Uh, we've used it on a 1,000-acre site, and that was with our previous airframe, which was an all battery, all electronic airframe, and we now have a hybrid airframe. So we could probably do if I had to sit down and do it, we could probably do a couple thousand acres in a day without an issue.
That's impressive.
Now, are you saying a couple thousand acres with all electric, or a couple thousand
With
acres
the hybrid, yeah,
with the
not all
hybrid?
electric, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah,
Just trying to
so
keep it
like
real.
the all electric base case scenario is like 15 minutes in the air. The hybrid, we're getting like 3 hours nearly.
But, say, for example, you have an issue with it or there's something that you need some support with. How are Phoenix to deal with?
Customer support is a very, very big issue for me. Uh, it's very important to me, and Phoenix is a fantastic company to deal with. I've dealt with them on any issue that I've had. I've physically gone to their office, and I went to their office at one point and was having a conversation with one of their computer software engineers and explained to him a problem that I'd been dealing with their flight planner software and then a third party software that's used for deploying the drone. And probably a week and a half later, he didn't even ask me, if I wanted it fixed. I was just kind of venting. And like a week and a half later, I used Flight Planner and they had fixed it. They had made a little flyout menu, and
So wait a minute, how many weeks was that between
like a week
your
like a week
conversation?
and a half.
That's unheard
Yeah.
of. No, I mean really, Claire. Sometimes we had
Mhm.
to work with these drone folks, and we'll be begging for months and to get it in a week.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
just
and
so
there
awesome.
and I put in a few support tickets. I don't really have to put in a whole lot because again, the system is very robust. We haven't really had a whole lot of major technical issues with it. The few times I've had to put in support tickets, they're very, very fast to answer. I don't think I've had a support ticket go beyond 24 hours before.
That's really reassuring to hear. But I don't know whether you know or not, Aaron, but Phoenix has a rather large birthday they're celebrating right now. They're 10 years old. And I just wondered, as a customer who clearly is very satisfied with your experience with Phoenix, what would you say to them on this 10th anniversary?
Just it speaks for itself. We'll be in the market for a new LiDAR probably in the next I'd say 24 months at the absolute longest, and it's definitely going to have a Phoenix sticker on it, without a doubt. I've dealt with other companies. I've dealt with drone companies. I've dealt with other LiDAR companies. I've dealt with photogrammetry companies, and Phoenix is definitely at the top tier when it comes to their product, their service, and just what they offer.
As we kind of wrap up here, if somebody saw this video and wanted to come work with you, how would they get a hold of you and how would you want to do business with them?
Absolutely. So they could reach out to, they could go to our website if they want to, just to do a little recon. It's ehra.team, EHRA team, or they could reach out to us at 713-784-4500.
Well, Aaron, thank you so much for chatting with us today. It's been really insightful. And thanks again for your time. I hope you've enjoyed this.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you, and we'll see you again next time.